Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our newest edition of Chats with Legends. Today, we will be talking with Koura from New York. Koura is a filmmaker with over 20 years of experience. She'll be telling us about jobs, about how works, dreams, projects for the coming years. And we'll be talking about her company as well, Space Dream Production. So stay tuned and don't forget to follow us on our social media. Hello, Koura.
Hello.
Hey, how are you? How are you doing? Thank you for accepting our invitation for being part of Chats with Legends. It's a
Of
pleasure to
course,
have you
thank you for
here.
having me. It's an honor to be here.
So, how's your day going? How's New York today?
It's pretty good. It's a little crazy, but it's Monday.
Yeah. So we got interested when we saw your profile, and we were wondering about the possibility of knowing a little bit more about what you've been doing in the late years. And I was going to talk for this time about this about your company, Space Dream Production. Can you tell a little bit about this project, what you've been doing? I know you're doing an amazing job out there. Can you tell a little bit about this huge project? How did you start this idea, and how is it going?
Sure. So the idea started in 2013 when a friend she suggested that we start a production company. It was just an idea at the time, and I ended up starting it myself. And at first it was just a way to make films. I kind of did it on the side, just as people do. And then in around 2017 or 18, I was really looking at doing it like as my full-time job. And then in 2020, we became an actual company. So we're a registered LLC, and we have staff and interns and contractors and employees and all that stuff. Um, and we mostly focus on supporting fellow artists, activists, and educators with connecting to their audiences. So we work as a facilitator of communication, creating content, film production, graphic design, anything that's needed that's creative that helps facilitate communication of artists, activists, and educators.
I know you have a couple moves there. I know you produced these two moves in particular. The one is the title is I think is Are You Positive? And The Mother
Mhm.
of Myself. Can you tell us about the move you have produced and the feedbacks you're getting lately?
Sure. So
How
I've
how are
produced
people receiving your work, your jobs?
Yeah, so I've produced about 30 films in the last since 2016. We released our first one. So they've been received very well. We've put them in a lot of festivals on streaming platforms. We have a film called Names on the Wall that's currently on Amazon Prime. And we've received about 200 award nominations and special mentions, and I think we're at 60 awards now for our work.
Wow.
So that's an honor. Are You Positive is a 48-hour film that was created for the Miami 48-hour film project. They didn't announce the nominations. We've been trying to find out what those are, but they never released them. We just received an award for writing for that one. And that film is about a young woman who's just taken a pregnancy test. And we don't, as an audience, ever see what the test result is. We don't know if it's negative or positive. We don't know the context. Was it positive before and now it's negative? Was she hoping for a positive and it's negative? Was she hoping for a negative and it's positive?
Mm.
There's lots of different pieces of that personal journey when a person takes a pregnancy test, and we wanted to kind of explore that without framing it too tightly. So that was that film. And then Mother of Myself is a documentary that my husband actually made about his mother, and it is surrounding her experience and his experience when she had a stroke.
No, that's great. So, can you tell us what is the meaning of these awards? I mean, I'm talking about the impact of those of them in your career. Do you think they are kind of credited to keep punching, to keep doing what you're doing? How do you feel when you're called to receive an award?
when I'm called to receive an award, I'm always very humbled. I'm usually surprised. um, we, I get so caught in the production that I forget sometimes that there's this whole other part of film, which is the awards.
Yeah.
Um, I received an award called the Miko Award, which is a career award given at a festival in Las Vegas for innovation, courage, and excellence in a career in film.
Wow.
And when I received that award, I was only a couple of years in as a producer, and the person who had shortlisted me for it didn't know that. They thought I was much more experienced. And
Oh, okay.
I found out after I won. um, and it kind of drove me forward, and it made me feel like I had to live up to that award, that I am going to be looked at as someone who has been innovative and excellent and courageous in their career. So I have to continue to exemplify those characteristics. Earlier this year, I was awarded as the Artist of the Year at the Nova Fest in Northern Virginia.
Wow.
And that was beyond humbling and really made me feel like I have to keep going and I have to keep living up to that, because if you win something like that and then everything you do is just garbage, or you become a garbage person and you're just not a nice person, or
Yeah.
you're not good to work with, it reflects poorly. And the rewards and awards to me have always felt like a responsibility.
So more than over 20 years of experience in these so many awards you've won, you might be proud of your path, don't you? When you analyze how it started and how it's all going, do you feel satisfied? Do you think you're going in the right path?
That's a great question. 20 years ago, I was on a very different path, and I never expected to be a producer or someone who was kind of at the top of their structure. I was crew, I was working on other people's projects. I was working for other companies. I loved what I was doing. But I ended up having a little bit of a medical event. I say little, a very serious medical event in 2011 that kind of derailed my life, and I had to reevaluate what I was doing. I created Space Dream Productions as a company so that I can have a place that is accessible for me to work and that I can provide accessibility for other people. And it's a lot of work. Sometimes the problems of the day to day are very big and they can feel very overwhelming. And it's easy to forget how much that this is my dream, that I get to wake up in the morning and make movies. And my to do list consists of editing and talking to clients. And even if there's, annoying things that I might not want to have to deal with, it's all part of making movies and telling stories. And it's thrilling to have it. It's so much work, but it is thrilling and so satisfying to have this be what I do every day when I wake up
Mm.
in the morning.
But
Yeah.
but how do you assess the role of women in the film industry when you analyze the role that women have been? Because I'm trying to analyze the whole process of film industry, how it all started, how it's all going. Do you think that there is something lacking? We still have a lot to do, so we can have this kind of, if you allow me to say this way, gender equality in the film industry. How do you assess the role of women in this whole process?
Well, I mean, Greta Gerwig just had the largest opening weekend ever for a female filmmaker. So I think we're making some definite positive inroads, as they say.
Mm.
Um, I've always kind of protested a little bit being called a female director or a female producer, because no one calls Steven Spielberg or J.J. Abrams a male director or a male producer. They just call them directors.
Yeah.
J.J. Abrams is the director. He's not a male director.
Mm.
So to then say to me, well, you're a female director.
Yeah.
I've never personally never loved that. um, I think that making space for people based off of their qualifications, based off of their voices, based off of their ability, and I don't mean their ability as opposed to able-bodied or disabled. I mean as opposed to their skills and their competence and their contribution. potential. I think that women in the industry have a lot of resources and a lot of people that are looking to make paths for them. I think that we still face so many problems. I go into meetings all the time where people look at me and they assume I'm just some young little girl
Okay.
and they talk to
Mm.
me that way and it's frustrating. People talk to my husband differently and he notices it and he'll shift the conversation to me. um, I say surround yourself with people who will help you open doors and who will push the conversation in the right direction.
Mm.
um, I've been in meetings with my male business partners, and these male business partners may be being addressed in the conversation, even though I'm the one who would be making that decision. And
Mm.
they very politely and very gently say, that's something that Koura would answer, or I believe Koura can speak to this. And they shift the conversation where it belongs, which is to me. And I really appreciate that. And I think having good allies and having people who recognize that there are issues and work to work around them and to make space without issues, those are the best people to work with.
So I'm asking this because there are many situations where you find women in leading role getting less money than male actors. So it's strange to find these scenarios, but we still see this kind of realities where male female actors get paid less than male actors. I mean, that's why I was asking this to so we could find some kind of I will. That's why I was trying to find the your opinion about this kind of scenarios. But I know you're a filmmaker, and I was wondering here, can you tell about the first steps you gave as a filmmaker? Can you tell about the biggest inspiration, people that moves you in the film industry?
Um, well, first, I just want to say that I definitely understand what you're saying about the income disparities and the payment disparities between male and female roles. That's definitely a much deeper conversation. And I know there's a lot of people fighting a lot of very important battles right now to handle the fact that people aren't paid fairly in the industry, and it's a problem.
Mm.
It's one of the reasons that I work in independent film, because it gives me more freedom to make choices that aren't forced by others. I can decide how much someone is getting paid, or my team can decide, and we don't have to worry about the pressure from some other standard. We can just pay people fairly.
Mm.
Um, that said, as far as my inspiration for working in film, I don't really have a single person or a single, instance or a movie that I saw where, I was like, oh, I want to make the movies because this person. Um, I've always kind of just been drawn to storytelling. I love seeing stories and characters come to life. I love the way audiences react to powerful and moving, even just entertaining cinema. I started looking for a role model because people always ask me, like, who's your favorite director or
Yeah.
what's your favorite movie? And the closest thing I could find is actually Ron Howard, because he's such a prolific director. I mean, he's directed everything from Splash to
Yeah.
Cocoons to
Yeah.
Solo, like you can't you can't watch three Ron Howard movies and be able to tell, oh, this is Ron Howard. Like he doesn't have like a J.J. Abrams lens flare or a Michael Bay explosions. He tells stories, and that has kind of been what inspires me. I think filmmakers are ambassadors of humanity, and I think our job is to tell stories. And what I want to define me as a filmmaker and as a storyteller is the stories, and not a genre or a style or a moment, but the ever evolving sort of complex tapestry of humanity.
Mm. But I was going to ask you about the genre that you like the most. Is there a type of genre you invest most in?
Um, Most of my films have been dramas. Um, I think drama is a very wide technically everything is a drama of
Yeah,
some
yeah,
way.
yeah,
Um, I like the dynamic motion of drama, the change and the shift and the conflict and the overcoming of some barrier. Um, my favorite movies to watch, I like action adventure movies. I like action adventure comedies. Um, I like movies like Mission Impossible and Top Gun,
yeah,
and I do love the Marvel movies,
yeah,
but I also like movies that are just human, that just tell a story that make you feel something.
yeah, yeah.
That's my favorite.
Now, people have been comparing Marvel to this kind of movies because there are people saying that are tired actually of superheroes, and they prefer this kind of movie that are more touching and give us some kind of they take us back to that reality where you feel pain, where you feel loved, where you feel lost, etc. But well, how do you see this whole scenario? Because lately we've been seeing the more superhero movie than this kind of movie that are more touching, and they try to teach us something about life, about loving, about human, etc.
Yeah, and I love that. I mean, the last Guardians of the Galaxy movie, Volume 3, it's basically a several hour long public service announcement against animal cruelty. Um, but it, I think that, it's kind of like eating cake or ice cream. Like people, sometimes you enjoy the bubblegum popcorn movies. Sometimes you don't need to be taught a lesson. You just need to be given a break from reality for 5 minutes or 3 hours.
Yeah,
Um, sometimes things don't have to do more than entertain, but to be entertaining, I think they do have to have substance and sustenance. And I think the movies that have done the
yeah.
best have been the ones that have heart. And I do appreciate that the studios are leaning into more heartfelt content. I think that's important.
Mm. No, it's interesting the way you see this whole platform, this whole industry, the way you analyze all this stuff. But how do you see yourself 5 years from now? I'm talking about your personal career. I'm talking about your company, etc. How do you see these all things?
It's funny. I was asked that question when I was at Berlinale in Germany last January, and I was at a coffee shop in Berlin with a French producer who asked me where I saw myself in 5 years. Where do I want to be? And I said, I'm an independent filmmaker who pays my bills making movies. That's what I do. My career, my life is funded. Like my job is to tell stories, is to help people tell their stories and to tell my own stories. And I'm sitting in Berlin at the Berlinale Film Festival and European Film Market as a credentialed producer, sitting with a guy from France who's looking at funding my movies in a coffee shop in Germany. And the trip we were able to go because of how well the company was doing and the client work that we do and the things that we do to earn money by delivering services to people and by supporting their stories.
Mm.
And I said, 5 years from now, I want to be here. I want to be at EFM, maybe selling more of our films. I want to maybe have a movie at Berlinale or have had a movie at Berlinale. But I I would love to have more clients. I would love to be connecting with more people. I would love to be servicing more artists, more businesses who don't understand that their marketing can be educational,
Mm.
enlightening people about why their services are important. I don't mean like I want to sell shoes for Nike. I want to help like a local landscaping company
Mm.
educate people on the value of, drought tolerant landscaping in California or using indigenous plants in your garden and why that's good for the environment.
Mm.
Creating, video content that shares this, that raises awareness, working with law firms or authors or musicians and getting their voice out there and connecting them with people. Um, I want to be where I am right now, just on a larger scale.
No, that's great to hear. That's great to hear. I know you worked with Joseph Gordon Levy. I think it was on Hit Record on TV. Something when visiting your IMDb, we could find that link. Can you tell us a little bit about this experience and what does it mean to you as a professional who's living a life in the film industry?
Yeah, Joe's amazing. He's one of the most innovative collaborative filmmakers in the world, in my opinion. He started an online open collaborative production company called Hit Record. It's kind of shifted down. He's actually working with Masterclass now, and Hit Record has kind of shifted down to just being a collaborative platform. But we that's actually where I met my husband, is working on Hit
Oh no,
Record.
that's great then.
And
It was
yeah,
meant to be.
it was absolutely. I would not be where I am in life right now without Hit Record. Yeah, so the premise of Hit Record is that anyone anywhere in the world can collaborate with the use of the internet. That you don't have to be in LA or Atlanta or New York or London to be a part of a larger film community. You could be, you know, a work from home mom in Oklahoma, or you can be a retired writer in Seattle. Like, well, I guess Seattle's a big city. But you can be in any of these places around the world, and through the internet, you can collaborate together. And the whole basis of Hit Record on TV is it was produced by artists all around the world, and the vast majority were not film professionals. And
Mm,
yes, there were some kind of like in-person opportunities for those who were in LA, and I was based in LA at the time of filming. But there, I got to meet a woman who's from Dorset in England, who got to appear in a short segment with Joe and with Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Anne Hathaway. And she never even left her home. She filmed it all herself. They used green screen to put her in the scene. And it was really cool to see that. And it really changed. As an independent filmmaker, I went from Hollywood to Hit Record. And that path meant that I was very open to international collaborations. I've been doing Zoom calls and Skype meetings and virtual collaboration for over 10 years. And, COVID and the pandemic kind of popularized it,
yeah.
but people don't realize how much opportunity there is out there and how much collaboration is possible. And I think Joe's been a real trailblazer in that collaborative connection between people. And it's really, really fantastic.
Mm. But what makes you unique as a professional? You should analyze
Um,
yourself, you should analyze your career. What do you think that you do
Goodness.
different? Yeah.
Well, first, I'm so sorry.
No,
My
no, it's okay.
charger, my
Oh,
computer just said that
no, it's
it
okay.
was just charged. I apologize. I
Yeah,
had a
that's
video call just before this. It probably
it's okay.
used up my battery more than I expected. What makes me different? Um, it's funny because we're currently promoting the fact that Space Dream Productions is different, just at a baseline. We are a zebra company, meaning we focus on sustainability and equitable growth. We're not looking to dominate a market and annihilate competition and get get $1 billion valuation and, sell and ditch. We care about what we do. I care about what we do. I care about who I work with. I care about the people that we're connected to. I am not willing to compromise on certain things that could maybe make things a little easier if I cared less.
Mm,
But I believe that if you do what's easy, life gets hard. And if you do what's hard, life gets easy. because it's really easy, to sell out and take some money from someone who maybe isn't a great person, and now you're in their debt and it's not really a good. Or there's a lot of film finance people who do very sketchy things with film finance. And I've had the opportunity to go in with people who are offering me funding in ways that, if not just blatantly illegal, that it's a little bit of a gray area. And it's not
Mm.
things that I'm comfortable doing. I've had people encourage me to change contracts in ways that would basically do what the AMPTP is doing right now that caused the SAG strike and the writers
Yeah.
strike. And I said no. And being a part of the independent film world, it means that I'm not beholden to anyone and I have the ability and autonomy to make my own choices. I can put a contract together that says, hey, investor, if you're not going to invest enough money for these people to be paid their full rates up front, they're going to get paid out of the profits before you get your money back, because that profit is their work and they haven't been paid yet. So you're not going to get a profit until they get paid. If you don't like that, you can invest more money so that they get paid up front. And then you're equitable. You've paid everybody for their work and you're welcome to profit off of it. But you can't profit off of people you're not paying. And that is something that we put in our finance contracts. So, sorry, I can get very passionate about that. As a
No.
general rule, I think what makes me different is the fact that I believe that filmmakers are ambassadors of humanity. I believe that my role as a filmmaker, when working for hire with my company, when doing client work, our job is to assist in facilitating communication between the creator, the creative person, and their audience. And I have that at the forefront of everything we do. We do our hiring process based on merit. We don't look for shortcuts
Mm.
that will hurt people. And all of our awards, all of our submissions, I mean, I've gotten a very few waivers for things. And even then, I've gotten cut, like I didn't get accepted. I have had the honor of meeting many festival directors over the years, but that doesn't mean that we get accepted. And I'm only friends with festival directors who I know won't treat me with nepotism, but if they give me an award, it's because their judges said that we deserved it.
Mm.
And we focus on merit. And I know that that is a harder path, but I would rather be honorable and know at the end of the day that what we're doing is the right thing and that it's going to be sustainable long term. Because if you cut corners, if you don't support the people who support you, if you work with bad people, it just blows up in your face later.
Mm.
And I'm, I guess at the end of the day, what makes me different is that I look at the long term. I don't just look at tomorrow or right now. I look at tomorrow, next week, next month, next year, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. Where is this company going to be in 50 years? And where are the people who are working with us going to be? Yeah.
No, no, it's exciting to feel that passion of yours. So thank you very much for granting us this privilege, this honor of being able to know a little bit more about what you've been doing. But before we finish our chat, is there any message you could leave for young women and young dreamers all over the world who are thinking about quitting and maybe because they are thinking that they think that their path is a little bit heavier than it was one day. Is there any message you could leave for those people who are thinking about quitting, who are thinking about giving up on that goal, on that dream they have?
Don't, don't quit. Um, no, at the end of the day, only you know what the right path is for you. You have to do what the best thing is for your mental health, for your survival, your sustainability, your joy in life. And there's definitely people where, they go, this doesn't bring me joy. This isn't what I want to do. And it's okay. Changing lanes is not quitting. It's
Yeah.
making a decided choice. I will say, though, the only way to guarantee that you never make it is to give up. I started dreaming about being a filmmaker over 20 years ago. I started my company almost 10 years ago.
Mm.
In the very late 2013. So give me a couple more months, it'll be 10 years. It's every day is a choice. And there's that path between where you are and where you want to be. And if you give up, you'll never get there. And if you don't try, you'll never know what will happen. The worst thing that's going to happen if you try is that it doesn't work. But it's not that it didn't work and now that's it. The universe exploded and there's no more movies and there's no more life and there's no more hope and there's no more anything. It just means it didn't work. So try again, do it again. This time you're coming from a place of experience and educate yourself as best you can. I'm trying to get more episodes out on our podcast, Filmmaking Actually. We're trying to continue doing these events that we do, the monthly panels. We have our Patreon, the Space Dream Productions Patreon, where we have all of our past panels and events where you can hear from industry experts. There's so many resources online for virtual events, for panels, for workshops. Try to make sure to go to ones that are from accredited source and they aren't just some random person charging you like $500 to tell you to hire them to do work for you. They should be actual resources. Companies like Seed and Spark are amazing. There's Film Independent, the Gotham, Forward Doc for filmmakers with disabilities, Women in Film and Media. There's tons and tons and tons of resources out there. And you're not alone. Find your community. Don't deep dive into Facebook and the endless, am I doing it right? You're doing it right if it worked. There is no right way to make movies other than turn the camera on and press record. Everything else is an artistic opinion. And don't look to other people for reconfirmation. Believe in yourself and try and keep trying and keep learning. And if it doesn't work, figure out what you did wrong or seek advice from a mentor and keep going. Because the only way to fail is to give up.
Yeah.
Once you stop, now you'll never succeed. So if you want to make that decision that this isn't what you want to do anymore, that's your choice. If it is what wakes you up and gives you fire and burns in your soul with passion every day, if you make a movie, it sucks, no one wants to watch it, you watch it and you're like, oh my God, what did I do? I've made movies like that. I've also made movies that have won Best Picture. Like, just keep going because the only way to get better is to continue. So don't quit.
No, that's powerful. That's great. Thank you, Koura, for your feedback, your availability, for being available to chat with us. It was a pleasure to have you here. We hope to have you in the next opportunity here on Chats with Legends.
Thank you so much for having me. It really was an honor, and I really appreciate being able to share.
It was a pleasure. So see you in the next opportunity. Wish you a great day.
Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day as well.
Yeah, thanks. Bye-bye. Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah. It was a pleasure to have you there. We felt your presence as always. We hope to have you here on Chat with Legends in the next episode. So stay tuned and don't forget to follow us on our social media.